Hey YouTube, it's Sean, Griffin RC Planes. Got the infamous Avios King Twin 1700, and today's video is about all the weight I had to add to this brand new plane. Got several comments, and one of them like really stuck out, and it was me having to add 4 ounces of weight to the back of the plane. Somebody said, man, a brand new plane having to add that much weight to it, something is funny with that. Now, I did add the weight, and I'll show you this, but it might not need to be there, or at least not all of it. It could possibly be the battery. It could possibly be all the modifications we did to it and adding all this weight. It could be the center of gravity is just not what the book says it to be. So let's just kind of run through all the numbers, and we'll just have kind of a little bit of fun here. We'll talk about the 3 different batteries that Hobby King suggested to use, and then I looked up each one of those batteries and I figured out their weight. And then I also, in the manual it says the flying weight of the plane with the battery, and then we'll weigh the battery I was using, and then we'll talk about all the stuff we did to it and how that adds up. So I say we get the other camera, Flipperoo, and we'll take a look at this thing in depth, and we'll kind of talk about everything. It'll be fun. So hey, I hope everybody's having a good weekend, a 3-day weekend for me, and hopefully it is for you too. And I hope everybody gets to go out and fly. I'm gonna try to fly maybe 2 days out of the 3, and then one of them I'm gonna take my mom out, and we're gonna try the new ability to take her electric scooter with us. It's the model we bought is for easy to transport. It breaks down into like 4 different pieces, and you can put it in the trunk of a car if you wanted. So we're going to test all that out. So I'll let you guys know how that thing works out. So I say we get the camera, Flipperoo, and shine down the plane like I said, and let's see what's up with this thing, and figure out the who, what, when, where, and why. And the first thing I'm going to do is take these wingtips off, because my little workshop is just not quite big enough to be able to get around the workbench. If you want to win a jet like this, all you have to do is subscribe. Click the like button and leave a comment. And then ring the bell so you don't miss my next video. At 1,000 subscribers, we gave this jet away. At 5,000, we're going to give another one. I don't know what it is yet. We'll see when that time comes. So hey, subscribe guys. Happy flying. Alright, let me show you guys this weight, and then we'll talk about everything. So 4 ounces on the back. Right here on both sides. Those are Pinewood Derby car weights. And they're not on there 1,000% permanent right now, because I'm still trying to get a feel for everything. But I got the directions of the the huge manual that came with the plane, but on their website there's a ton of information. It's really easy to see. You must be signed in Hobby King's website to access the manual, but once you do, it's as thick and as good as other competitive brands. So they recommend 3 batteries. I'll show you guys this in a minute. And then they say that the total flying weight of the airplane, including battery, is 2,985 grams. Now, I weighed the plane with a kitchen scale, just putting it under one wheel at a time. And I know that's not 100% exact, but that's ballpark-ish close, all right? And the front wheel weighed 231 grams, and then our right landing gear wheel weighed like 979 grams, and then the left landing gear weighed 964. And then I realized I didn't have the propellers and the back plates and the spinners on, so I weighed them also, and they were 77 grams. So no battery brought it to 2251. And there, well, let me show you here. All right, so the quick setup guide that came with it here So they're saying the flying weight is $29.85, including the battery. And then they got 3 battery suggestions. One is a Rhino 3300 milliamp 4S 50C. The next one is a Turnigy 4000 4S 30C. Their third suggestion is a Turnigy Bolt 3450 milliamps 4S, and that's a LiPo high voltage with 15.2 volts instead of a LiPo 4S normal voltage is 14.8. So you get 0.4 more volts in this LiPo high voltage business, which I haven't experienced that yet. So I went on their website and looked at these batteries. Their first one, the Rhino, $32, and it weighed 390 grams, and that was a 3300 4S. Their next one was a Turnigy 4000 for about $38, and it weighed 452 grams. Then this LiPo high voltage, it weighed 380 grams. So I weighed the plane at 2251, and then you take their heaviest battery pack at 452, and that's going to take us right about 2700. And they're saying that the flying weight is 29.85. So the numbers are off. So therefore the CG could possibly be off. Now the battery I'm using is a 4S 4500 Amazon. I got tape wrapped around it, so we can't, I don't even know what brand it is. Yum, I think. And let's see what this guy weighs. And it weighs 427. So the empty flying weight of 2251 plus the 427 would make it 26 to 2700 grams or so. So that's still 200 grams than their flying weight. Now, I added all this tail weight, and I did that by putting the plane on the CG machine, which I have my own CG machine. And when I did, I had to add all that weight. But we did a ton of work to the plane. We added pinned plastic hinges to every control surface on the wing. It's a total of 6 hinges on each side, because they're split flaps, plus this is the aileron and the wingtip. So 1 hinge, 2 hinge, plus the glue, the 2-part epoxy. And then in the flaps, then these are the flaps, and they're split in 1 hinge, 2 hinge, 3 hinge, 4 hinge. So there's 6 hinges on each side, 6 gobs of epoxy. And I covered this plane in polyacrylic several coats. And you think you're just brushing on something, but it adds up. I just weighed a full can of polyacrylic, 32 ounces, weighed like 900 grams. And I would imagine that I put a fifth of a can on it or something. So we got 100 grams of extra weight on it for the clear coat. Plus, you have to glue on the elevator halves. Maybe they felt like I should have used more glue or something. But for some reason, I have this much weight on both sides. I've also now I've replaced all 3 tires underneath it. Now I've replaced all 3 tires with the low bounce Dubro tire. Now that has been, after I've already added the weight. So I might need to take some of that weight off. I hope I can take a lot of that weight off the back, if not all of it eventually. After my first maiden flight I had a pretty hard landing, and I messed up the front landing gear a little bit and had to do some reconstruction in here, which now has added a little bit more weight also for the repair. I put low bounce tires on it. The tires that were on them, the axle shaft hole was not centered. The tires were just cheap. They were bad. I got one of them on the balancer right here. Maybe you guys can see how this thing hops up and down like an egg. Let me see if I can get it going now for you. Oh, yeah, it bounces like an egg that way. Yeah, they're bad, and they're hard. So now I've got soft tires that actually spin smooth. Huge difference. Huge difference. Let's put it on the CG machine with everything on it real quick. Load a whole battery up first. Not gonna plug it in, but I'm gonna Velcro it down. That, and that, and that, and that. Get the old wing tipperoo on it. The wing tips that did not do this, listen. That did not click and lock in place when I first got it. Boy, that's another weight adding that we did. These locking tabs did not line up. I think on that wing over there I had to move the locking tab like a 1/4 inch in one direction. So that was a lot of hot glue and blah blah blah. Added weight there too. Click, click. Let me show you guys my CG machine. Alright, here it is right here. I made this at work. A couple pieces of metal welded together. These are some L brackets for some kind of shelf somewhere. I got no idea really where I got them, why I got them. A bolt and some nuts where it pivots freely, and a little piece of shelf iron or rubber band wrapped around it just to kind of help protect it, grab it a little bit. Now here's another thing, CG machine, this is not perfect, but then again, we're checking these things with our fingers out in the field, so this is not NASA, that's for sure, not NASA, and we need to get the props on, that's for sure. We need to do that. It's weird that both of these prop nuts thread on the same way. These motors, when they're spinning, they spin inward. They both go like that. But you'd think the thread should be backwards on one. Like this one, when it's turning, it tightens the nut. The other one would be backing the nut off. Oh, come on. Should have pushed it on a little farther to get it to seat on the little hex that it goes on. Boy, these are some cheap prop adapters. Ugh. You damage one of these things, you need a whole motor. So yeah, as this one spins, the prop nut or the cone is actually kind of spinning itself off. All right, I'll show you guys how to set it up on the CG machine, and then I'll show you underneath it. So, of course, it's a balancing act, especially. Especially when I'm trying to get it where you guys can see it. Right there, that's around the 80. And that's a little nose down. Now I also know when the landing gear moves, it'll change it a little bit too. But being that the front one goes back and the back ones go forward, technically the landing gear should be canceling itself out. That's kind of my thought there. Maybe you guys know. I don't have, this is my only plane with landing gear, so. And it didn't say to test the plane upside down, and it didn't say to do it with the gear retracted or not. All right, so got her on the old CG machine that's bouncing. It can be moved a little bit to have a nose down. But it's bouncing right around the 80. If I move it forward a little bit more to have it balance between the 80 and the 90, then it gets the nose down. So if I didn't have those 4 ounces of weight on the back, you know, it has to be there. Unless the center of gravity is, you know, the CG mark is just completely wrong. And it's all part of the hobby, part of fiddling. So if I do move it forward a little bit to get it to balance, you know, between the 80 and the 90 mark, then there's your nose down. So the weight I added has to be there in this application 100% if the center of gravity in the manual is correct. You know, if we took the weight off the back, this thing would be balancing, you know, at like 200 or something. It would be pretty, well, it'd be a lot different, put it that way. You know, and then just looking at this thing, probably about where my finger is around the 80 to 90 mark. Is that where jets fly? Is that where they balance? Are they balanced on, you know, the front third of their wing? Just kind of curious. I don't know. I'm just having fun with a hobby, guys. One last thing here, and we'll call it done. That's where I have the battery. Yes, the battery can be moved back. But if I go back, well, put it this way, I can't slide it back far enough to do without these weights. But if I do move it back some, this first Velcro strap doesn't get used, or I don't know, there's just, you know, I'm already utilizing all the battery tray. Hey, go figure, guys. It's Hobby King, you know. You pay for what you get. In my opinion, this is a great deal. I understand that part of the hobby is fiddling, and I understand that these models are not going to come perfect. If it is going to come perfect, you're going to get it from Horizon, and you're going to pay about 4 times as much as what I paid for this one. That's 200 bucks, including the shipping and including the tax. That's what I paid for it, and that's why I got it. All right, well, that's all for this one. Hey, if you guys got anything out of this video, give me a thumbs up. That's the best way to support what I do. And leave a comment. How about a video idea? And subscribe if you haven't. That goes a long, long ways, guys. I'd really appreciate it. It's free. And I guess that's it. So, hey, thank you so much. Until next time, you'll see me here.